Quality is more important than
This
quantity.
meeting is being recorded.
Quality is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, and skillful execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Every action in opportunity to improve. Success is the sum of small effort repeated day in and day out. On behalf of Vinayaka Mission College of Nursing, Karaikal, I heartily welcome for the 12th quality webinar series entitled as Accreditation, Ranking and Quality, a paradigm shift for strategic enhancement of higher education. I request Professor Dr. K. Kamala, Principal, Vinayaka Mission College of Nursing, Karaikal, to welcome the gathering. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Meghala. A pleasant morning to one and all joined here. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Quality is never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent effort. Our higher education system has entrusted globally to provide quality education, especially to the youth, and equip them with required skills and capabilities. I am pleased and highly honored to welcome you to the 12th quality webinar series on accreditation, ranking, and quality, a paradigm shift for strategic enhancement of higher education. The only real security that a man can have in this world is a reserve of knowledge, experience, and ability. You have always raised the benchmarks for hard work and dedication in your profession. The teacher, who is indeed wise, does not bid you to enter the house of his wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your mind. You are highly motivated and inspiring, and I am very sure that you will enlighten us today with your presentation. I welcome the resource person, Dr. S. Ramesh Kumar, Deputy Director of IQAC, Professor of Horticulture, Annamalai University, Chidambaram. Welcome you, sir. Great leaders have three things: inner light, inner vision, and inner strength. Leadership is the art of giving people a platform for spreading ideas that work. Your insights, your wisdom, your dynamism, and your commitment to our university, and for that, we are very grateful, sir. I'm extremely happy to welcome our IQAC Director, Dr. P. Gnanashekhar sir, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, deemed to be University, Salem. I welcome you, sir. I feel privileged to welcome all the directors, deputy directors, HOIs, professors, and staff members of VMRFDU, Salem. Welcome you all. Once again, I welcome you all for today's webinar series. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I request Dr. P. Gnanashekhar sir, Director IQAC, VMRFDU Salem, for the keynotes. Please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Warm morning to all of you. It's indeed a wonderful occasion to be before you again on this 12th of the quality webinar series. Today being a Saturday, specifically for the month of Purtasi, I think most of you would have been busy in the morning praying to Lord Vishnu for his blessings. நல்லா வீட்டில் சக்கரை பொங்கல்லாம் சாப்பிட்டு வந்துருப்பீங்க. காலையில் மதம் இருக்கும். So I do hope you will enjoy this program and take home wonderful messages on what accreditation, ranking, and quality is, and how this will change the higher education system. The resource person for today, Dr. Ramesh Kumar, when I was looking at this profile and when Madam told me about him, I was wondering how a horticulture person is interested in quality and accreditation. They are interested in this cut and paste. They do plenty of these cut and paste of plants coming out with some new varieties. I remembered an incident when I constructed my new house 8 years back. With a lot of enthusiasm, I had a garden space, and I called one of my friends who is a horticulturist in Salem and asked him to set up a garden there. And also, I was even more enthusiastic in asking him to put up a roof garden also. And he did everything, and there was a lawn, a lot of palm trees, and some garden plants. And on the roof, he had the small bags, leather bags, where he put plenty of trees. And apart from that, he went overboard and putting 4 or 5 pots with this small plants, like miniature plants, bonsais rather. Then no time went by, all these plants started growing, and he used to come every other month and do the pruning and all. We had some ornamental plants in the front of the house, so they used to shape it to some good shape so that it looks better. So after 2-3 years, we were interested in the beginning, right? Then after years passed by, the frequency of me calling him to prune the trees, went down. Then for me also, I had a good watchman who was doing the gardening work. He used to water the plants and maintain it. This fellow disappeared one night. Then started the downfall. All these plants we were not able to water, all started drying, and all bushes started growing. And one fine morning, my friend came home. He saw all this. He said, "This is the last day I'm going to speak to you," and he left. Till date, he has not turned back to my house. So this is how the horticulturists have their interest and what to say, they love the plants, right? So when they see the plants in such a condition, they really lose their heart. So this is how quality also minds. You should work with quality, specifically in education institutions. If we don't have quality in education, then the product which comes out will not be in the required quality-based output. So that is the reason I think the link between horticulture and quality, it comes there. So I do hope all of you will enjoy today's session with inputs from Dr. Ramesh Kumar. They have a very lovely campus. People that side, if you pass by, you should visit the campus, specifically the agriculture engineering department. They have a wonderful ground facility, and everyone should cherish in their lifetime and see that we keep the planet green and clean. And this is how everyone should strive to see that we maintain quality, not only in our lifestyle, but also in everything what we are involved in. And today's topic, if we look at accreditation, ranking, and quality, a shift for strategic enhancement of higher education. You look at the NEP 2020, there also plenty of stress has been given on quality, not just quantity. They are now removing quantity. If you look at the recent white paper released by NAC, that also relies more on quality rather than quantity. they are not going to look at the counts, rather they are going to look at the outcomes. So this is what is going to be a strategic paradigm shift in quality assessment and quality enhancement. So I do hope we'll have wonderful information from our speaker today. I wish this series webinar a wonderful success, and I thank the principal and IQAC coordinator of BMC and Karaikal for taking up this webinar, and I do hope everyone will enjoy this day. Thank you, all the best.
Thank you, sir. It's the right time to move on to the vital part of this program. I am very much privileged to introduce and welcome to our resource person, Dr. S. Ramesh Kumar, Professor and Deputy Director, IQAC, Annamalai University, Chidambaram. First, he has started his career as lecturer cum warden superintendent. He has more than 2 decades of experience in research and published 40 research articles in indexed UGC listed journals. He has completed 4 sponsored projects and the total budget was rupees 999 lakhs. Also, he has completed 2 consultancy projects and 4 is ongoing. He has published 5 books and 16 chapters. He has organized and attended many conferences and symposium. He has delivered guest lecture and invited paper in national level conferences. He has organized training program for farmers training and refresher course also. He has received Fellow of National Glorious Trust Award. He has contributed for syllabus revision during 2012 as Curriculum Revision Committee member and NAC Accreditation 2013 as Document Preparation Committee member. He also served as Placement Coordinator in Department for the academic year 2016-17. He has served as member in Curriculum Revision Board, Central University of Tamil Nadu, Thiruvarur, and IQAC Nodal Officer for the Development of Horticulture in the year 2017 to 2020. He is a member Board of Studies, Sri Manakula Vinayaka School of Agriculture Science. As a Deputy Director, Internal Quality Assurance Cells of Annamalai University, contributed for development of program attainment protocol and preparation of student satisfaction survey reports, curriculum analysis report, employability mapping report, quality audit reports, etc. He is serving as member of Institutions Innovation Cell, DSTPU RSE Well-Wisher Committee and Tender Committee and serving as a ranking coordinator Annamalai University. I proudly welcome you, sir, for today's quality webinar series. Please, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. At the outset, first of all, I would like to congratulate the IQAC of Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, the director of IQAC, Dr. Gnanasairan sir, and the Dr. Kamala ma'am, who is principal of VMCN in Karaikal, for rightly choosing a wonderful topic, which is need of the day in higher education. And we would like to really thank on behalf of IQAC Annamalai University for organizing such a wonderful webinar series, sir. And with this, I would like to get into the business. And actually, our IQAC director from Vinayaka Missions has made it very clear, and he made the job very simple to ice break the topic, because the anecdote what he has given is very close to the quality aspect or the core aspect of quality. As sir told, he has connected very rightly the plans and quality. And the core topic or core concept what he has enlightened us speeches, that quality is not a one-day affair, it is a regular affair, as as like that of taking care of plants and taking care of crops. We may have to look into the crops and other live materials every day. We have to take care of them every day, then only we can sustain their life. And it is so with our educational system also. And that is why our director has given very right anecdote, and it made my job very simple, sir. Thank you for your for connecting horticulture with the quality aspect. And it goes without saying, horticulture is a quality concept. Thank you, sir. So, and next, we'll move into the topic. And we know pretty well the ranking and then accreditation are two different processes. Accreditation is most essential part of our higher education system nowadays. So without accreditation, higher education institute cannot survive nowadays. We cannot go away with that. So we may have, we are under the if we feel that some of them, they feel that it is, we are under the clutches of accreditation systems. But I feel that that is very essential to sustain all the higher education institutes to be given to our next coming forthcoming generations. If these systems are not developed, definitely we cannot sustain our institutions for a longer period of time. And the most important part of these accreditation systems, they emphasis on quality standards, which are like educational. If you take NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, it has become, this process is a mandatory one nowadays for all sort of higher education institutes, starting from small colleges to big universities. So here they revolve around the quality standard. What they insist revolve around educational process and outcome, then curriculum coverage, teaching learning, faculty and their achievements, then research and outcome, then infrastructure, learning resources, then organizational and governance, then finance and financial well-being of the institutions as a whole. All these parameters or all these quality attributes, they are to be maintained in order to give a quality student service. So the outcome is, or what do you call the outcome, which the expected outcome out of these quality standard processes are the student service what we are providing to our core stakeholder, because they are our consumers and customers. To them we may have to make it in a right way, or we have to serve what is needed for this society. And that is why National Assessment and Accreditation Council insist upon every higher education institute to go for accreditation process on regular basis. And it has become an order of the day nowadays. And if you just look into the ranking systems, so here assessment and accreditation process is it will have an outcome wherein you will get a score, or you will get all your quality standards assessed and they are endorsed. And your every process, academic process, what we do, like the kind of programs, or because we have different kind of accreditation processes done by the accrediting institutions like NBA, NAC and ICAR, and then Teacher Education Council and all. So they accredit the institute, or they accredit the programs, or they accredit certain or what do you call colleges. Like as far as the NBA is concerned, where the accreditation is for the programs, and for ICAR is concerned, where the accreditation is for all agriculture programs. And when NAC is concerned, where that accreditation is for the institute. So higher education institutes should actually keep complete track on the programs what we have, and wherever we have to go for the necessary or mandatory accreditation process that we have to comply with, and we have to do those process every time now and then. So, and that has become an order of the day. Whereas the ranking is concerned, where it gives us to sustain our competitive mode in this existing what do you call era of education, because the present day, the era of education has more what do you call it has become more competitive, and initially we were going the entire state wise, and then we were going all India. Our target population or our target has expanded throughout the country, and now we are in a situation that we have to explore even outside the country for attracting students. All our higher education institutions need to extend our tentacles beyond our limitations. So there is no limit in this globe. So we have to reach the unreached out of country. For that, one of the tool which we have to take as a lead is the ranking frameworks. Because ranking frameworks, they rank all peer group of institutions, and that help the stakeholders to choose which quality of education I am affordable to take, or I intend to take. So in that way, actually, in one way other way, it is actually helping us to instill on quality standards of our service, and hence we cannot go away with this in the present day condition. So we may have to know each and every, actually it is not the simple job of IQAC only. It is everyone's job in an institute to comply with all quality standards and to make the institute eligible to compete with the global standards and to serve for the client, the stakeholders all around the globe. So let us start with the NAAC process. Actually, I thought of explaining all the aspects of NAAC, then NAAC process, and why we have to go, and what are all the benefits, and what are all the processes which are involved in NAAC. Then I gone through the IQAC website of NIAGA mission, where I could find the IQAC is working wonderfully well, and I think you are in third cycle of accreditation with the A grade, sir. And so there is no much introduction is needed for NAAC process, but for the benefit of stakeholders, for benefit of the young teachers who have joined with us today, I would like to emphasize certain important points, how this NAAC process is helping us to sustain our quality standards of an institution, not only institution, for every teacher and for every student. It is essential. Only I can say with the example that only after we entering into the NAAC accreditation system, then only we could able to see gradual developments in every aspect of our university as far as Annamalai is concerned, and the growth is not only on over the institution or infrastructure of the institution. We could see the growth happened within us, and the growth happened to our stakeholders and students, and then the employers also. So the NAAC process is actually, it is both self and external quality evaluation process. So why we call it, it involves self and external quality evaluation is, we submit self-study report, that is a self-evaluation process which we do, and which we are looking back into what we have done for the past 4 years in SSR, and what we have done in the last year through AQAR. So we are looking back at what we have done, and we are assessing ourselves with quantified data, and then we are submitting the data to the NAAC. So where the process of evaluation is initially done by us, and what process we have done and what report we have generated is externally evaluated by the NAAC assessors. And then the NAAC peer team also comes here and assesses. So it involves both assessment by us and assessment by the external quality assessors. And actually, NAAC intends to promote core values among the higher education institutions, and these core values are contributing to the national development, and it is revolving around how this accreditation process, it contributes to national development, how it fosters the global competency among students, and it is intended to inculcate value system among students, and it promotes use of technology, and it creates a thirst for quality excellence. So this is what the core value which is insisted in the process of what we call NAAC accreditation. And if you just ask me whether really it happens, I can say it is happening only just because of the NAAC process. Because in NAAC process, it insists on the all quality standards in 7 different criteria of higher education institutions. In all these criteria, where even from curriculum component to employability, or the research, or what do you call the 7th component. So in all these criterion components, the ultimate aim, if you just look at it, it insists on national development. In curriculum, how it asks how your curriculum is relevant to national and global developmental aspects which are taking place currently. And it insists upon how your programs are attracting international students, and what are all the quality aspects, what are all the skill components which we are giving to our stakeholders to make them as global citizens. And it explores how our teaching is insisting on value concepts in curriculum, and it promotes really the use of technologies. Because without NAAC process, if you could see in our university, we have initially we were the first university in Tamil Nadu to go for NAAC accreditation, and we have scored 4-star first, then B+, and then A, and now we got A+. So in these periods of growth of our NAAC grades, we could see development in all this sphere. The promotion of technology has enormously implemented, and still we are thirst to excel in all quality aspects, and to make our university reach apply for many more quality aspects and quality rankings, and we are exploring more on quality, because the NAAC process gives us constant encouragement, and it makes us constantly explore to the process of self-evaluation and assessment by peer group of academicians. And the benefits of NAAC, apart from instilling these quality concepts, actually it helps us to review ourselves periodically to find the strength, weakness, and opportunity analysis. We have to assess this, and if we are not subjecting ourselves for NAAC process, we will not do it, or we may sometimes go very lethargic, and we will think ourselves doing very right, going in a right way, and we will not assess ourselves. So for assessing our strength, weakness, and opportunities, and to time by every now and then to fix our short-term and long-term goals, the NAAC assessment helps us really. And it helps us to identify the exact areas for planning and resource allocation, which is aimed towards achieving a set target or set goal. And its collegiality, it creates a collegiality on the campus. Not only campus, we could able to feel this when we have gone for the 4th cycle NAAC accreditation in our campus, because it is a very small town. Chidambaram is a very small town, and Annamalai Nagar is a part of it, where you could see the collegiality between all the stakeholders, because we have 10 faculties our university is multidisciplinary university where we have all the health sciences to agriculture, engineering to music, all disciplines are existing, and we could see amalgamation or collegiality and working towards a single goal, even though we are all separated in many different faculties. We work together and we have worked in tandem with each other, and we have attained the A+. And that collegiality has not only created among the university camp entities, we could see even from the public, and public participation was more in the campus, and that kind of attitude towards achieving a single target goal is created by NAAC accreditation process for every 5 years in our campus. So if that NAAC process, or if we are not going for that NAAC accreditation, the collegiality or interdisciplinary approach will not occur in big institutions. So as far as the Vinayaka mission is concerned, I could see, as you have different campus and as you have spread all through Tamil Nadu, where you have a great scope for collegiality, and that is happening really. I have seen this particular, heard from Dr. Kamala ma'am that this is a 12th webinar, quality webinar series, where every program is organized by different organizations between you, and this collegiality is just because of the thirst what you had on the quality aspect, and that is why it has become a reality today. And next is actually the accreditation process actually makes it intensifies the higher education institutions. What incentives it gives is, pretty well, for certain funding for RUSA and PERS and for other national funding, we may have to get a minimum stipulated grade point. And not only that, pretty well, nowadays the education has become more international, and ODL has become order of the day, online digital learning and programs on ODL. So if you are really intended to give programs on ODL and explore that part of higher education, then we may have to have good grades in NAAC accreditation, and otherwise we may have to have a good grade through NIRF ranking system. So because it has bad, the central government or MHRD has made it a mandatory for exploring such funds or exploring such initiatives, which makes the higher education institutions very sustainable. So the accreditation process incentivizes the higher education institutions and institutions to initiate innovative and modern methods of pedagogy, and that pretty well. And actually it gives us a new sense of direction and identity for every institute, because the concept of multidisciplinarity is becoming more and more prominent now. And you have in the new education policy, there are different categories of institutions are coming up, and certain institutions are named, or some universities are, we have scope to make a university as both research and teaching university, and sometimes it may go for teaching only. So if you want to choose a path for your growth in future, where to move ahead and where to head towards, so that kind of decision we can get from the accreditation process, because where this accreditation process is not simply done by ourselves, where the peer group institutions are involved in this. And really I can say, if you attend 2-3 meetings of peer team visit, and their ideas and the recommendations what they give, they will really interact with us, and during those interactions I could able to hear many ideas which are very essential and which are strikingly fitting to our institutions to move forward for next 10 years or decade or next 20 years. And this kind of information you will not get if you don't subject yourself for accreditation. And then all the entire society and the stakeholders, employees, everyone is looking into what do you call an endorsement. So nowadays the stakeholders or even students, they are looking into the kind of endorsement for the institution to which they are applying, and they want to know whether that institute is accredited or not. And this kind of thirst towards quality, choosing a quality institution is known to even school children. When school children are coming out of school and when they are searching for placement in colleges and universities, they look for the grade of a university, what grade it has secured in NAC, and when even international students, they search with the QS ranking, and they search with Times Higher Education ranking, and they search with the Chinese ranking systems, and they assess the college to which or university to which they are applying for. So it has become order of the day, so we cannot go away with this. And intra and inter-institutional interactions, when we are aiming for interactions and collaborations and MOUs with foreign institutions or for other nationally important institutions, they look for our grade. So these are all the most important aspects which we may have to or most important benefits we can get out of this NAC. And apart from, and what we have told is for institutions, and apart from that, and when you work towards the accreditation process, you will get every individual, it's only a collective score which is given to a institution by its employees, by its stakeholders, and by its students. When the teachers, they perform well, the students will perform well. When the students perform well, and both the accomplishments by teacher and accomplishments by student are incentivizing the score which is for the institution. So when we subject ourselves for accreditation, every teacher or every faculty is actually is becoming very important, and his contribution to research and his contribution to teaching is accounted, and it is actually not simply subjectively evaluated, where the accreditation is an objective evaluation process. It looks into the quality standards by counting numbers. So that subjective evaluation makes every stakeholder to perform well, or it is assessed by the growth of the stakeholders, and hence it is really a beneficial thing for the teachers and students of the higher education institution. And then now we'll get into the 7 criteria or quality indicator framework, how it works, and I will give you a very superficial touch on this. Then we will move to what you call ranking systems. And in NAC accreditation, every institution is assessed based on curricular aspect, teaching, learning and evaluation, research, innovation, extension, infrastructure and learning resources, student support and progression, governance, leadership and management, and 7th criteria, institutional values and best practices. Here we have to apply. So here what this part of my lecture I would like to cover certain important nuances are in which aspect we have to very keenly work, and how to tide over the what you call assessment process and achieve good score. Because where the gap what we have is it is not simply working good and achieving more, and we will have good accomplishments, we will have good achievements done, and we will have done a very good performance. But unless and otherwise we showcase our performance, we cannot achieve good grade. So it is a kind of what do you call self-marketing. So we may have to do that self-marketing. So that is very much needed for subjecting ourselves to quality frameworks or to assessment of our quality frameworks. So that is why, and the most important aspects are curricular aspect, which scores 150 mark, teaching learning 200 marks, and research innovation and extension 250 marks. All these three criterions, first three criterions, all put together, you will get around 600 score out of 1000. And the remaining criterions, infrastructure, student support, governance, and institutional best practices, all these they score around 400 marks. And the first three criterions are the thrust areas, or the what do you call the most important criteria, which need to be addressed or which need to be explored, and the data which are available in these three criterions are to be mined every now and then, and we have to make them ready with evidences. Because and we'll go one by one, what are there in these 7 criteria, what aspects are there, and what are all these small things which we will cover. I will have a faster go over here. So this is a curricular aspect. It involves curriculum design and development, academic flexibility, curriculum enrichment, and feedback system. Then teaching, learning, and evaluation, student enrollment and profile, catering to student diversity, teaching learning process, teacher profile and quality, evaluation process and reforms, student performance and learning outcomes, student satisfaction survey. Likewise, all 7 criteria go, and where for different types of higher education institutions, we have different important key performance indicators, and these key performance indicators for universities, we will take criteria, 7 criteria are there, and key indicators are 34. And these key indicators, we have qualitative and quantitative metrics, and qualitative metrics are 36, quantitative metrics are 79, and total metrics are 115. Here, I would like to say 2 important features of these qualitative metrics and quantitative metrics. All these quantitative metrics are objective analysis, or done by objective analysis, and qualitative metrics are subjective. But for describing our qualitative metrics, or for explaining our qualitative metrics, we have to give some subjective data. Some objective data. If you have objective data, then only we can justify our qualitative metrics and the objective data, what we are, or the objective explanation, what we are giving to qualitative metrics. So mining the data is most essential feature which we have to periodically do, and every stakeholder need to cooperate with the IQAC, and they have to work in tandem with the IQAC, and they have to support IQAC to properly go for accreditation process. So it is everyone's job in a higher education institute to support IQAC in this aspect. So now we will have a distribution of just a minute. Weightage. So distribution of weightage for these quality criterion indicators, where we have from curricular aspect, curriculum design and development, which has got 50 score, and academic flexibility 50, curriculum enrichment 30, and feedback system 20. So what kind of job we can do in curriculum design and development is actually it scores very high. So in the academic flexibility and curriculum design and development are most important components in NAC criteria. So if curriculum design.
Sorry
Yes,
to
sir.
interrupt, sir.
Yes.
Actually, our university comes under Health Sciences University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's
So
why
there is a minor deviation in the scores.
Okay,
so
sir.
I think,
And that is what I would like to explain now, because we have both the health system, we have the health faculty here, both medical and dental and nursing, and we have agriculture, we have engineering, and we have arts and science, everything. So here, how we propose our curriculum design and development is, as far as medical faculties are concerned, where medicine and dental, we don't have role in curriculum design and development. Whereas in engineering and agriculture, in arts and science, we have that role to be played. And whatever the curriculum which we have designed for other faculties, rest of medical sciences, we have adopted that is outcome-based education system, OBE. So outcome-based education is the system of education which we have adopted. And for as far as medicine and dental is concerned, where you have competency-based education, which is recommended by Medical Council. So for this and these aspects in curriculum and design, we may have to very clearly explain how your curriculum, whether which is designed by your institute or which is adopted by institute by taking the inputs from regulatory bodies, how it is matching with the national and global needs, how it matches with national and global needs, how it satisfies the local needs of the society, how it actually accommodates values systems in education, and how, and in academic flexibility, we may have to explain what are all the features your curriculum design which has got to accommodate academic flexibility, credit transfer, and all such aspects we have to explain, and we have to quantify with data. So here previously for during the third accreditation cycle, we don't have adopted outcome-based education for all other faculties. Whereas as far as fourth cycle is concerned, we have delayed our entire process of NAC accreditation for 1 year, just because of the reason to adopt outcome-based education in all the faculties, rest of medical faculties and dental faculty. And luckily, during 2019 and 18, both medical and dental have adopted that new revised syllabus, which is competency based one. So we could able to justify in the fourth cycle that we are on par with the national systems, and our own system what we have developed in curriculum design and development, which is also outcome based education. And this we have and that is the one reason for we have scored a good grade in curricular aspect. And then feedback system, as you know, your IQAC is doing feedback every year, and it is a regular practice. And curriculum enrichment, and that is where we need to improve. And here in curriculum enrichment in present day condition, it gives emphasis on value, that is value added courses, and value added number of enrollments in value added courses, and number of value added courses every year what we are adding to our students, and that plays a major role in getting marks for curriculum enrichment. And in this actually this value added course, as you know very well, it goes out of the curricular design. Actually we are emphasized to give new value added courses on skill concepts and we can give a separate certificate, or we need not include that credit in our regular curricular credit transcript. We can give a separate transcript or mark list or a certificate for students who are undergoing value-added courses. By increasing the value or number of value-added courses and enrollment in value-added courses, we can really tap the entire 30 marks in curricular enrichment. And then comes to the teaching, learning, and evaluation. And here the most important features are student enrollment 10 marks, catering to student diversity, teaching learning process, and teacher profile and quality, evaluation process and reforms. So, and here the evaluation process and reforms entirely, it goes with the teaching, it goes with the control of examination and the kind of evaluation system, how quickly we evaluate, and how we reduce errors in evaluation process, and how we have integrated our evaluation system with the modern IT concepts. And these things fetch mark for evaluation process and reforms. And teacher profile and quality, where the composition of teacher, then teachers experience and their qualification, and all these things are fetching good mark here. And in teaching learning process and catering to student diversity, where the student diversity between the diversity in different programs, and the diversity in different parts of the students from different parts of country or even outside the country. And the teaching learning process, how we integrate our teaching learning with skill components, how we integrate that with field projects and projects in all PG programs and internships, and these things that actually fetches good mark for us. And most important aspect, not only in NAAC accreditation, even for NBA, for engineering and for agriculture, the student performance and learning, assessing the student performance and learning outcomes. And as far as student performance and learning outcome for engineering is concerned, in OBE, because it is linked with outcome-based education. If you want to really do the student performance and learning outcome, then your curriculum should be framed in OBE, that is outcome-based education design. Only in outcome, when you have a defined program outcomes, course outcomes, and then you can go for assessing the student outcome or student graduate attributes. What are all the graduate attributes that is attained by student who has undergone a particular program or particular course. So if you don't have your curriculum designed in OBE, then we cannot trace it. Whereas in your competency-based education system or education model, where it is Miller's pyramid is adopted, where the evaluation system itself has got is accommodating assessing the learners' outcome, particularly skill of the learners. So in health sciences, you need not worry about the performance and learning outcomes, development of attainment protocols for learning outcomes. Whereas for other programs like engineering, like agriculture or arts and science, we may have to first make our curriculum OBE. So when in curricular aspect, we have to satisfy that, and then we have to develop a protocol for assessing learning levels of a learner. That is how much of the outcome they have attained, or what are all the graduate attributes they have attained through undergoing every course. So these learning outcomes need to be assessed for every student course wise and for every class for entire students. And we may have to find what is the medium level of attainment, or for every student we should have the data, how much percentile of outcome attainment has reached. So all these data we have to have, and we have experts developing their own outcome attainment protocols. There are two types of outcome attainment protocols available. One is direct method and another one is indirect method. And direct method is actually linked with the examination process. And we may to have exact learning outcome attainment calculated, we have to link that for, or we have to define that, or we have to do that in direct assessment process, which requires adoption of what you call adoption of OBE, or the adoption of for mentioning the course outcomes in every question paper, and we have to adopt Bloom's taxonomy question paper. So it requires that 2.6 student performance and learning outcome. If you want to adopt, then it requires the change in evaluation process and change in question paper setting it, and previously it needs a change or adoption of OBE system of education. So everything is linked with the previous criteria. So developing and learning outcome attainment protocol is most essential as far as the engineering and arts and science and other programs or other disciplines are concerned, and it is already embedded with what you call embedded in health system education. And then student satisfaction survey, you know pretty well, it is the process which is done by the NAC itself, and the feedback system is the one which 1.4, that is feedback is the system or the assessment system what we are doing for our assessing curricular aspects from our students, then stakeholders and parents and other peer academicians. Whereas student satisfactory survey is the survey which is conducted by NAC portal itself, where we may have to give minimum 50% of our students data. That is, we should give our students mail ID, then name of the student, and then a register number and his mobile number. And for universities particularly, when the universities are having a student strength of more than 1,000, we may have to give 50% students credentials to them, and with that they will randomly send the 21 send the link to survey form, and in that survey form there will be 20 objective questions and 1 subjective question. So they may have to answer for all those questions, and they will assess it, and they will send initially 500 mails out of 50% of the students data we give, and that 500 mails, all 500 mails are answered, then it is over. Otherwise they will go for a second set of mail until they reach the 500 mails. So, and this process we need to complete within 7 days or 8 days of once they start the student satisfactory survey process. And then research and innovation and extension, and this is most important criteria where research publication and awards fetch more marks, and the kind of innovation ecosystem what we give that fetches 30 marks, and a promotional research facility, and we should have a research policy, and we should have backed many research programs, and we should run the consultancy revenue, and we should have collaborations for research and collaboration for academic exchange with other institutions, and we should have extension activities. In this, the most important thing is 3.4 and 3.6, where extension activities and research publication awards, these two are most important one. And here research publication, they aim for indexed publication in indexed journals, Web of Science and Scopus, and InflibNet will collect will give data of our institution, they will directly take the values from InflibNet and they give us the score. Whereas awards, they consider only the nationally reputed awards, and that is the that is the very difficult task which we need to comply with. So it is actually this research, innovation, and extension. It goes with the development of the faculty and students directly. When faculty and students they work towards a good research culture, then naturally that institute will score more marks, because this is the very key criteria which has got 250 highest score. So everyone has to mind for the data, because the problem with us is individual teacher will have an accomplishment, but they may not send it for IQAC, and getting that is the most important job for IQAC to comply with this data. And here we have to go for reading the questions while filling the questionnaire in NAC portal. We have to once again 2 times, 3 times we have to read, and we have to compare the data given in this metrics with the teacher performance in previous metric, that is teaching and learning and evaluation, and we have to check which can be placed in 2.4 and which can be placed in 3.4. So these things we have to check with the what do you call the description, what they have given for each and every data in last part of the manual. So this we have to work a lot, and for this we need to work constantly. When we assess our data annually, we have to set some targets actually. In our university, to get the publication metrics higher, we have made it mandatory to submit articles for indexed journals for PhD completion, and for PG also we are going to insist on submission of articles or publication of articles in indexed quality journals. And then comes the infrastructure and learning resource, where the physical facilities are most essential, and library as lead resources, where they look for e-journals, and they look for library automation, and they look for library available to students through online portals like MyLoft, or whether the library is accessible to student anytime, anywhere. These aspects are very essential. And then maintenance of campus infrastructure, and then IT infrastructure. And these are all the most important. And nowadays they are the components which fetch good marks to every institution, because most of the institutions we are complaining and with these IT developments. And then the most difficult task which we have undergone during the 4th accreditation cycle is student support, student progression. Then the other 2, student participation in activities and alumni engagement, are good in our institute. So in general, this student support and student progression, we should explore data every month, because we know that mostly the student support activities, like the kind of programs which we offer to students, extra programs apart from curricular aspect, we may have to give programs, or we may have to support the students for entrepreneurship, for skill development, for placement, and for innovation. And that is the support activities what we do, and it includes the kind of scholarship what we provide to the students. And those scholarship, what they account is not the scholarship which is done by state government or central government for deprived students, or students based on the caste category or other thing. They require for what are all the other support or incentives which we give to students, or scholarship which we give to students out of other government support, like any endowments we are offering, or any support from the other institutions. So all these data, it fetch mark for student support. And then student progression, where it is the progression to higher education you have, and the progression to job. So how many are placed through online, through the campus and on campus and off campus placements. And here the most important aspects is as far as NAC data is concerned. So far it dwells around the number, what is the percentage of students we have given opportunity, or we have made them employed. That is the most essential. But for the ranking institutions, where the median salary is the most important criteria. So because student progression to higher education is also another important task. So here we could able to give data. Actually, every institute will have more data than what the institute is claiming. Why they could not claim everything what they have done is, they could not get the data mined properly, because every year when a student is completing by June, after he receiving the certificates from us, we will account number of students who were placed in that batch during the campus placement. And even during that period of time, we would have trained the students and sent them to different off-campus placements, and we may not know the results of those. And so we may have to establish a mechanism that keeps on tracking every month until you submit the AQAR data for the previous year, because we will be submitting AQAR data only after December. So for that, we may have to explore the data from data pertaining to previous year. So we should have a continuous mining of data. We should have developed a mechanism to track all our old students who have gone out of the college from last academic batch, that we have to contact them for every week or every 15 days, and we have to get the status of them, and thereby you will get good number of progression data obtained by every department. So it has to be done, it cannot be done very simply by only the placement directorate or IQAC directorate. Every teacher or every department should work for it, and you have to mine the data, and you have to, until the last date of submitting your data, you have to mine and promote this data. So this is one way, and really to further improve this, we should adopt some placement strategies so that by ensuring 100% placement or progression to higher education, we can get these 40 marks without any loss. And alumni engagement, we should have definite audited statement which states the kind and value of the contributions which is given by alumni, and the kind of programs offered by alumni for the development of the alma mater and for the development of students. And another important aspect is governance and leadership. So if you just look into that, it talks about the quality assurance system and quality initiatives done by IQAC that fetches maximum marks, and faculty empowerment strategies, FDPs, that is offered by the institution that fetches good marks, and financial management and other resource mobilization 20 marks, and leadership and strategy development 10 marks. So we thought, and sometimes after seeing the scores of many institutions, universities, we thought it is a very simple task, and we can tide over this very easily. But in our experience, we could see that we have scored very less in this mark in spite of our very long existence, and we are almost 90-year-old institution existing in Tamil Nadu, but we got underrated in this criteria. So we cannot go away with any criteria simply, or we cannot omit any criteria, thinking that it is very simple and we are pioneer in that, or we are good in that. So it all matters. Every single point or every single data matters to tide over the tough situations in which we are facing, to which we face through PRT or through this accreditation process. So we should not take things very granted. We have to be keen in providing every data. So institutional vision and leadership means where it is not simply the 4 or 5 sentences of vision and leadership which we are giving, where they will be asking for strategy. So if you are saying that in strategy development and deployment, there is a question, what is the what are all the strategies, or what are all your short-term vision and mission, and how much you have achieved. So for that, we should have a vision document. So every institute might have vision and mission statement, but with addition to that, we should have a vision document. Say, for example, we had a vision 2030 document, and which describes key performance indicators. What are all the key performance indicators which we have to look into it up to the year 2030, and what is the quantified target which we need to reach for 2050, 25, 2027, 2028, 2030. Likewise, we have developed a vision document. And in strategy development and deployment, we have described how we have worked towards achieving that vision, the key performance indicators mentioned in vision document, and what is the current level of achievement that we have explained. So with that, we scored that mark. Likewise, we have to very keenly look into the question, and it is because in the new MANAC manual, where every question is very, it is written very in a way to explore all our quality aspects, both objectively and subjectively. To objectively describe, we need to support with, to subjectively describe, we need to support with more objective data. So that is the feature of NAC manual questions. And then institutional best values, and it includes best practices and institutional distinctiveness. And you know pretty well, best practice, either it must be the practice which is sustained in this institute. Say, for example, you have different campuses, and if you claim one best practices as a best practice, then it must be replicated in all the campuses, and either it should revolve around the academic process or administrative process, or quality development of quality standards which are oriented to stakeholders. And we can propose 2 best practices, and these best practices need to be very keenly, as they are very subjective, we need to describe them very properly with additional documents, and we need to expose that, or we need to showcase those best practices when peer team visits our institution. And institutional distinctiveness is, I think it's the core value or core aspect with which your institution marks ahead of all other peer group institution. In what way you are distinct? With that, you have to move and you have to present this, because some institutions may have a special drive on certain aspects that is giving more importance to society or the stakeholders. So what that special drive you have, that in that way you are distinct from all other institutions, and these kind of distinctive features you have to assess from your institutional data and from your institutional practices, and then you have to explain that. So, and if you just look into the scoring or calculation of institutional CGPA in an NAAC process, there are three types of scores. One is quantitative metric. So for all quantitative parameters, the system is generating score. We will be submitting our quantitative data in the portal, and that data will be validated by external valuers, and they will raise some queries, and because we are supporting all our quantitative objective data with evidences. So they will match your data with evidences and they will give score. Then qualitative metrics is appraised by the peer team. So peer team comes and it subjectively it assesses us, but even for that subjective assessment, it takes the help from, or it takes the lead from objective data what we are submitting, because they don't believe what appears to be rosy when they visit our campus. They always correlate their opinion with the objective data what we have submitted. So though it is a qualitative metric which is appraised by the team subjectively, and objective data support is needed. Then scores obtained on student satisfactory survey. It is the score what our stakeholders, core stakeholders, the students are giving to us. And all these three categories of marks are actually quality parameters or criterions are assessed and given with a scale of 0 to 4 grade. So 5-point scale they are adopting, and for every score, for every metric, there is a benchmark. Say for example, if the 1.1.2, the percentage of programs in which number of programs which are revised with syllabus revision. If it is 90%, whether they give 4 grade for 90% or 80% or 50% or 40%, that we may not know. So the biggest question mark here for us to understand is benchmark. If you ask any NAAC assessor, for as far as the objective data is concerned, the data what we have submitted, no one will rightly enlighten you with the benchmark what they are fixing and what is fixed. So this is the actual nuance, or what is the secret behind the scoring system. And only thing, and hence we may have to try to give or explore all the data without any lapse. You have to explore all the data, and you have to give your, you have to feed your data appropriately with appropriate evidences. So when these rankings are done in 3 different portals or in 3 different systems, they are collated through an automated process. There is no manual process involved in quantitative, in collating the marks obtained from quantitative metrics, qualitative metrics, and scores obtained from student satisfactory survey. They were collated through automated process and will get the receive the grades. So, and you, as you well aware, this is what the grading procedure, and the A plus, A double plus, then A, B, B plus and all. And next we'll just move to ranking frameworks. How these ranking framework they differ from accreditation is, ranking frameworks are actually assessed by comparing our data with the peer group of institutions. In all ranking frameworks, you take as far as Indian, the National Institute of Ranking Framework, NIRF is our Indian ranking framework, which is done by Ministry of Human Resources and Development. Actually, during 2015, the Ministry of Human Resources and Development has brought in this ranking framework. And the purpose of bringing this ranking framework in India is, actually the ranking frameworks were initially available internationally. And most of these ranking frameworks are from either Europe or Australian or US or Chinese ranking frameworks. And those ranking frameworks, unlike your NAC data, they are assessing as mostly very subjective, because they take the perception outside. What is the perception on an higher education institute from outside they assess, and whatever the perception data they receive, or they based on that they will give us ranking. So as it goes very subjectively, our presence or the presence of Indian institutions in international arena is very less, and hence in spite of we being having good facilities and good number of students, we could not come in that ranking, and there seems to be a bias, and hence the Indian government has made it a point to develop our own ranking system, and it is initially meant for ranking only the Indian institutions, and it has got future plans to rank the other institutions from other nations also. And how it differs from other ranking institutions, as I told, most of other ranking frameworks like QS ranking or Times Higher Education ranking or India Today ranking, where on all these things, they have the more marks allotted, or their weightage is allotted for the subjective data, that is assessment or assessment by peers or assessment by outsiders. Whereas the national institutional ranking framework gives only 10% of the marks or weightage to the perception. And by all other means, it is almost same with the ranking frameworks inside the India and outside the India. And in all ranking frameworks, how they work with the data is, they compare the data for 3 years. So temporal development or temporal development in our quality parameters they observe. And not only that, temporal change, what we can compare with the previous year data or a year before previous year data, how we have improved, that is one aspect. And how we are differing and how we are incrementally developing in comparison with our peer group of institutions. So the group of institutions which are existing in this situation, how the others are growing and how we are growing. So we have to grow in a higher speed or in a higher growth rate when compared with our previous growth. And at the same time, we have to run ahead of the other institutions which are running along with us. That is the most important feature of national ranking frameworks. So how others they run is also matters as far as ranking is concerned. So it is not that we only running, it is all decided by how our competitors are running. So, and as like that of your NAC, the physical check on records and audited accounts is also sometimes required as far as ranking framework NIRF is concerned. And you know pretty well, NIRF we have discipline wise category: overall engineering, management, pharmacy, colleges, architecture, law, medicine, dental, research, and we have agriculture and all. And this ranking process is actually for NIRF, MHRD, the NBA, National Board of Accreditation, is helping, and they are the nodal agents for the ranking process. And the NIRF is assessed by assessing 5 parameters. One is teaching, learning, and resources. And next one is research and professional practice, then graduate outcomes, and then outreach and inclusivity, then peer perception. Here you can see weightage for teaching, learning is only, it's that 0.3, and research and professional practice is 0.3. So here the student strength, which includes doctoral student strength, then faculty student ratio, then combined metric for faculty with the PhD, then financial resources and their utilization, then online education. We have given the mark 100 mark split up for this. So here you can see that where we are lagging. So if we don't have any online programs, online courses which are offered in our institute, we'll be losing 15 marks. And if you don't have our PhDs, there is increment in PhD of our faculty, then we will be reducing marks. And the experience, actually in experience also, if the NIRF expects a perfect blend of senior, junior, and mid-level experienced faculty. So as far as our university is concerned, we have the average year of experience of all the 130 teachers, it is coming around 19 years. So in that formula, we will be missing to fill the constant which is meant for the teachers with less than 7 years of experience. So it expects a perfect blend, and it expects all to be a permanent teacher, and it expects all doctorals an increment in student strength every year. So, and the financial resources, how we are utilizing, how much is allocated for academic development, how much is allocated for development in regular expenditure for academic process, and how much is for infrastructure development. So these things are for research. These things we may have to get a financial statement, and we have to upload. So if we concentrate on this, we can really get good marks, where at present for many of our institutions, the offering online courses in SWAYAM and MOOC portals are offering our own online courses is the major thrust area now, from which most of the institutions nowadays are lagging, and we may have to move a lot. And research and professional practice, where it is a combined metric for publication and combined metric for quality of publications. So these two metrics actually acts as I think for NBA, InflipNet is assessing the quality parameters of all the higher education institutes which are participating in NIRF, and they are giving the data. So here our job is, we cannot manipulate, but they will assess us and they will send us the scores what we have obtained during that particular year, and they will ask us to confirm the score. So if at all, if you'd like to check these scores, we can we can get the help from Web of Science or Scopus software, and we can check our own score, and we can improve. To improve our research and publication score, we may have to improve the we may have to steps to increase the publications, and we should ask all our students and stakeholders to include institutional credentials when they go for publication. So, and every institution must have a publication ID, and they should have their IDs registered in Scopus and Web of Science. So by that way, we can track our publication, because many of our stakeholders are publishing, and as their IDs are not linked with our institutional ID, we could not track those. Some of them, they forget to include our credentials in their papers. So these things we have to constantly keep informing all our stakeholders and make them to mention our the credentials of our institution in their publications, and make them informed of new publications made in the name of our institute. And we may have to keep a constant eye on this, and every librarian in a higher education institute should work towards the increasing or work towards tracking these data. And then IPR and patents, and every institute will have an IPR cell established, and they will look into it, and we may have to increase the number of patents. And from now onwards, they don't simply satisfy with the number of patents published or patents granted. And many other ranking institutions or ranking frameworks, they ask for data on how much revenue is generated out of the patent which we have, which we are owning. So the patent, they insist as on making these patent really meaningful. So in that way, we have to work forward hereafter. And footprint of projects and professional practices, this is assessed by our impact. So for that, we have to give the impact assessment data, how our projects have created an impact in the finance and impact in other aspects of the community. Then graduate outcome. So here the metrics of university examinations, they will ask for how many graduates, pass percentage and all. And the most important for UG and PG, the examination system, they have allotted 60 marks. And for PhD graduated, for this, they don't take the data what we are submitting. They will see that all our university theses, PhD theses are updated in the InflibNet repository, Sodhganga repository. So that every librarian should ensure that, or the academic research directorate should ensure that the thesis works or dissertations are uploaded in Sodhganga repository every now and then. And the numbers and the values, the NIRF will take from Sodhganga only. Then outreach and inclusivity, where it includes the percentage of students from other countries and state. It talks about student diversity locationally, it talks about student diversity socially, and the gender parity, and it addresses the physically challenged students and perception ranking. So it has to be in a, so we have to explore in such a way that we attract students from all parts of the world and all parts of the country, and that diversity is the one which will help us to gain marks. So if you see this here, for graduate outcomes only 0.2 weightage, outreach it is 1.1, and peer perception, it is the academic peers and employees opinion on us. Actually, under this peer perception, the NIRF will take a survey on it, and the survey will be floated to the peer academicians, and those academicians who are there in our own institutions will not be allowed to vote for us, and they will be entitled to vote for other institutions, and you will be assessed by other peers. So, and here they strictly restrict the institutions to influence the peer assessors by influencing them by mail or something else. And next ranking framework which is promoted by ARIA from 2020 is that the Atal ranking of institutions on innovation and achievements. Actually, this is another important ranking system which very few institutes have now participated, and it is a good system wherein every institute should actually enroll and participate. Why I am saying is just we have started looking into this very seriously for the past 2-3 years. But after we entering into this ranking, we could see change in the development, the quality development of quality aspects, because it insists us to do certain jobs without fail. So only after we entering into ARIA, actually this I'll explain you. Before that, who can enroll for ARIA? All higher education institutions exclusively for women, a separate enrollment. Private or self-financed colleges or institutes, private or self-financed universities, government and aided universities, government colleges or institutes of national importance, and central universities separately. So they rank us separately. They don't allow all of us to run in a same track and comparing a car with a bike. They compare a car with car, compare a bike with bike. That is what we expect. And actually this ranking framework, it assesses the following parameters, that is innovation and entrepreneurship awareness among students. So maximum score is 7.5. Innovation and entrepreneurship infrastructure facilities, what we have. Innovation support by higher education institute. So startup support, it fetches maximum marks, 20 marks. So having a startup has become most essential center, or startup center establishment is become order of the day in every higher education institute. So it also insists, the ARIA is insisting on developing this. And co-incubation and partnership 2.5, and angel and venture capital funding, it gives that linkage 10 marks. Teaching learning on innovation, IPR, entrepreneurship 10 marks. In an IP commercialization, how really we are commercializing the intellectual properties, that fetches 32 marks. And budget expenditure, what we spend for developing innovation, IPR, and entrepreneurship, 13 marks. So this is actually a very meaningful ranking system and ranking parameters that is very encouraging for all professional institutes, or all institutes which are running professional programs. And I can say ARIA is driving quality initiatives. And actually it is quality driven, and is insist on it actually keeps on insisting us to work towards starting a certain things. Actually, when we have to register for ARIA, then we must have registered for National Innovation Policy Portal. So if you want to really get into that portal, then we should have a formulated an innovation and entrepreneurship policy. And if you are having policy, then it will insist us on to upload the action plans. So once after we have registered in ARIA, we have forced to enter into register into NISP. Then we have forced to develop or initiate or formulate our own IE policy. Then after feeding that, it asked us to upload our plan. Then we have uploaded plan. As we have uploaded plan, we have started working towards that. So that is what the aim of the real aim of the ranking frameworks and accreditation process. They insist us on do quality improvement processes. They simply ask us to register, then ask us to develop a cell or develop, and likewise it asks us to develop a institutions innovations council, and it asked us to develop a pre-incubation center, and it asked us whether we have IPR cell or TTO cell. So just for the namesake, we wanted to have these cells and centers registered, and then that portal actually it motivates us to work with a perfect action plan. And now we are rolling on all these activities in a regular basis. And it makes us register in Kapila portal, where it enable all our students and the stakeholders to register their innovative ideas and and it act as a repository to keep our innovative ideas. So, and it makes us participate in Smart India Hackathon. So if we have not entered into or we have not registered in this area portal, then we would not have done all these activities. So that is why I say that these ranking frameworks and accreditation process, they first insist that they orient us towards a goal, and then they give us a task and they make us to work towards that goal. That is the real what do you call benefit out of these portals. Only because of NAAC ranking, we have started implementing annual quality audit, annual audit on academic audit, then annual administrative audit, and we have done gone for green audit, energy audit, and everything. So now it has become first year or second year it was a bit cumbersome task, and now it has become a regular affair. So these ranking frameworks and accreditation processes are really, they are the driving force towards excellence of quality in higher education institutions. And just I will throw some light on the international ranking frameworks like QS World Ranking, where you have QS World Ranking for universities globally existing, and you have region-wise ranking, and you have World University Ranking by subject-wise also. So if you just look into this, as I told, the NIRF and ARIA are more objective. There only 10% of mark is given for subjective analysis. Here, if you see the academic reputation, employer reputation, these are two reputation key indicators. They are nothing but the opinion given by the academic and employer contact, which we are submitting to these ranking framework. So they simply send questionnaire and they assess us. So it is 50% subjective, and they will get faculty student ratio, papers per faculty, citation per paper, and international student and faculty staff with the PhD. These data they will ask from us, and even in these data, many parameters, like if you internally go the student employability and all, we may have to give only the questionnaires, or we may have to give the survey reports what we have done. So, and all these things are more subjective, and hence the Indian institutions to come in this ranking will take a little time. Once we start participating in these ranking frameworks, slowly we will learn the nuances, and we will really we can reach international reputation also. And another important ranking framework is the Times Higher Education Ranking, where it is very still again it is a more subjective one, where the criteria are teaching, research, citation, industry income, and international outcome. So as I told, when our NAAC, they call it for fund generated through projects. We consider that as expenditure done for research. But here in international ranking, they spell it as industry income. So the what do you call the IPR and the research has become a income revenue generating source for higher education institutes, and that is how the things are changing, and we may have to tide along with these changes in which are occurring in higher education institutes. So with this, I think I have justified your expectations, and now over to the organizers for your input.
I think we have a question in the QA session sir can answer.
Yes, sir. So what are the strategies to perform well and get more score in research performance and outreach inclusivity in NIRF ranking? So kindly address. Okay. Strategies to perform and get more score in research performance and outreach. Okay, sir. In research performance and outreach in NIRF, actually, they ask for the data pertaining to the amount of research funds generated through research projects, and then the amount of fund generated through consultancy services or testing services, and the number of clients available in or number of clients we have in consultancy and research service. Apart from that, they need the publication metrics. So for this, what we have to do is we have to encourage our teachers we have to motivate them to apply for more projects, and even many private companies and many corporate companies are now because the funding from government agencies have started decreasing nowadays, and hence we have taken a strategy to go for private partnership or tapping the funds from industries and for social or for health related programs or agriculture related training programs like that. We approach many social corporate responsibility funds which are available in multinationals, and we are trying to tap that. And with addition to that, every research and every academic research what is done in our institute, even from UG level, we encourage students to do quality research, and we ask them to publish their research along with their supervisors, and publish them in good rated journals, sir. And moreover, to keep our publications and these research fundings the data are collected, we need to insist them regularly give the data to feed us. And I think you have a good data feeding system which is adopted, that is best practice in your institute. And I think, am I justifying your question, sir? Then next question is how to improvise institutions' perception in NIRF ranking systems. Sir, and actually the NIRF ranking system, they assess our perception, and the weightage given for that is only 0.1, that is 10% of the marks. 10% is weightage. So here they send the questionnaires to the academic contacts they have, and it will be done by NBA, and NBA is doing that job, where they will send these questionnaires to other peer institution partners. Other peer institution partners only receive a questionnaire about us, and that they have to vote for our institution. So it is a kind of what we say. So we may have to, all our peer group institutions. So whenever we give, if they, we submit data for peer persons, we may have to give the data of those peers in their database, or we may have to frequently call our peer group institution partners, and we should have a collaborative program. Thereby our perception is improved. And moreover, for not only for this NIRF, for all other international ranking, every institute need to develop a system like because now peer perception is improved by social media grouping and by social media activity. So we should have a very good academic social media wing, which works in Twitter, or which works in LinkedIn, and which works in Facebook and all other social media platforms, and thereby we can improve our perceptions. And that is what is recommended by many of the experts who are now helping higher education institutes for peer perception improvement. So we should have a good IT wing that work towards that. Then is there, third question is by Mr. Dr. B. Senthil Kumar. Is there any limitations of funding amount to show in funded projects to NAC? Sir, there is no limitation at all. Only thing there, they'll have three categories. One is the fund generated from government projects, and second is fund generated from private projects, and fund generated from public for the institutional projects, and we'll have another part fund generated from consultancy services and private projects, and fund generated from consultancy services which we do to stakeholders. So we need to keep a watch on all these five category of funds which we receive. And we have other, as far as private universities concerned, you'll have funds received through charities, and you'll have funds received from endowments and all. So there is a what do you call guideline to show which fund in which category. That is there given in the NAC portal manual in the last part. So appropriately we have to upload the funds, and there is no limitations. But for everything they will ask for audited statement of accounts.
Any more questions from anyone? For your information, for all the participants, our university has been accredited by NAC. In the first cycle, we had a B, and now presently the second cycle, we have scored a A grade. And in NIRF, we are the 101, 150 ranking under university category for the last 3 years, and in overall category under 151 to 200. And in ARIA ranking, 2 of our engineering colleges are under band excellent, and the university is band promising. And 2 of our medical colleges are accredited to NABH, and the homeopathy medical college also is accredited to NABH. The third medical college is in the verge of getting the certification. All the 3 medical college virology labs are NABL accredited, certified, and 9 of our institutions are ISO certified. The university also is ISO certified. Looking at other accrediting agencies, we have now started our process for Times Higher Education University ranking for the coming year, and also in QWS rating for Indian universities. So this is where we stand as of today.
Really, we would like to congratulate you for your dynamic work and all the accolades you have brought in for your university, sir. So congratulate on behalf of IQAC Annamalai University.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, sir. May I request our respected Director IQAC to give the concluding remarks, sir?
I think I have given the concluding remarks now. See, we are in line with all accrediting and affiliation agencies. So we do hope in the coming years we'll stretch our accreditation and assessments and various other bodies. And I would like to thank our resource person, Dr. Ramesh Kumar, was very fluent in the whole process. Though what I interrupted in between was we have been classified as a health sciences university. So your assessment is on general universities category. So there are minor changes with the general universities and health sciences. See, for us, we have 125 metrics. And so there is a minor deviation in the scoring pattern also. Yes. Anyway, the topics are the same, but only the scores a little bit there are changes. Other than that, everything was wonderfully done. I think everyone would have really taken home the message that accreditation is to stay. So it is survival of fittest. Unless we prove ourselves, we cannot survive in the education market. Thank you.
As just I would like to add one more information. Even if everything is well with universities, then all is well with the nation and the citizens. That is the quote by our former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. So all IQACs in universities are really working towards achieving everything should go well with universities, sir. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I can profusely thank the IQAC of Vinayaka Missions for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I request Dr. Magala. Thanks.
Good afternoon to all. Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude, and gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. It is my great privilege to be here to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Vinayaka Mission College of Nursing, Karaikal on this auspicious occasion. First, I would like to thank the God Almighty for His showered His blessings throughout this webinar. Next, I express my hearty thanks to our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. A.S. Ganeshan, Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation, Deemed University, Salem. Thank you, sir. I convey my deep regards and hearty thanks to our Honorable Vice President, Mr. N.V. Chandrasekhar, and Madam Vice President, Mrs. S. Arna Devi Chandrasekhar, Managing Trustee, VMRFDU, Salem, for being a backbone for us in every activities of nursing college, for granting permission and providing constant encouragement to organize this webinar in a successful manner. I express my gratitude to our resource person, Dr. S. Ramesh Kumar, Professor and Deputy Director, IQAC, Annamalai University, Chidambaram, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace this occasion. We are greatly encouraged by your gracious presence and immensely benefited by your inspiring speech, sir. Thank you, sir. I wish to express my sincere thanks to Dr. P. Gnanashekaran, Director, IQAC, VMRFDU, Salem, for his sincere contribution and appreciation in every step of our working. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. K. Kamala, Principal, Vinayaka Mission College of Nursing, Karaikal, for her successful commitment, immense support, and cooperation. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to express my special and hearty thanks to all the directors, deputy directors, HOIs, all the faculty and IT members of VMRFDU Salem. Thank you all for your valuable presence and support. My special thanks to all the IQAC coordinators. Thank you for your valuable presence. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here and making this webinar in a successful manner. Once again, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.